going to present Adib Dada. He's an award-winning environmental activist, as I said before, an architect who founded theOtherDada, the TOD, regenerative consultancy and architecture practice in 2010. And his mission is to activate projects across architecture, living systems, and art that create a symbiotic relationship between nature and the built environment. And let me share some remarkable numbers that illustrate the tangible impact of Adib's work. So, Adib has created 11 urban forests across Lebanon. And these aren't just tree planting, but complete ecosystem transformations. Each forest takes degraded urban spaces and turns them into thriving biodiverse habitats. Together, these projects have restored over 4,000 square meters of land. This is amazing. That's nearly an acre of urban wasteland transformed into living, breathing ecosystems that serve both community and wildlife. This involved planting 50,500 native plants, not exotic species, but locally adapted trees and shrubs that build resilient forest communities perfectly suited to Lebanon's climate and soil. I love that. And perhaps most importantly, thousands of community volunteers have participated in this work. Adib doesn't just plant forests. He cultivates ecological stewards, empowering citizens to become active participants in urban regeneration. And here, his work hasn't gone unnoticed. Adib has received significant recognition, including the McNulty Foundation Impact Grant for Environmental Leadership, the D&AD Future Impact Award for Design that Creates Positive Change, and the IF Social Impact Prize for Innovation with Purpose. He was also named to Good Magazine's Good 100 for his Beirut Rivers Less project, a list of people changing the world through their work. And Adib's story has reached global audiences as well. His work has been featured in the documentary Growing Back Beirut, which captures his environmental advocacy and forest making practice. He's a sought-after speaker, so we are so really proud to have him today with us at prestigious institutions like the Cambridge University, the Goethe Institute, and the SWECO, sharing his expertise on regenerative design and urban ecology. And his research and insights have been published in books like The Mini Forest Revolution and Connecting Trees with People, contributing to the growing body of knowledge on urban reforestation. And regarding international media, he has gone from Monaco, one of my favorite magazines, to Vogue Arabia, to Vanity Fair France, which have profiled his work, recognizing him as a leading voice in environmental architecture. So these achievements really are demonstrating that regenerative design isn't just theory, it's practice with measurable, lasting impact.
Building a habitat for humans and other creatures to thrive in the city. Briefly, theOtherDada is the company that I founded back in 2010. And since then, it has sort of developed and evolved organically, depending on, following my interests and passions. And I've moved from basically, I'm trained as an architect. I went into, I was very interested in this idea of green buildings, and then learned about sustainability and all of the, like LEED and BREEAM certification, and then disillusioned by those things until I happened upon the Living Building Challenge certification and Biomimicry. And so I kind of learned about these practices, and it's completely changed the way that I design and the way that I think, the way that my practices run. So at the moment, because it changes every few years, at the moment, theOtherDada is a regenerative consultancy and architecture practice, and we're working on building interspecies habitat. Regenerative in the sense that we are no longer interested in sustainability and green. We're really interested in pushing the boundary into regeneration and creating tangible positive impact. And consultancy, because we also consult and advise other companies or institutions on regenerative practices and building interspecies habitat that include the human and the more than human as well. And just to say that because of this way of thinking about our impact, if you're familiar with the B Corp certification, so we're Lebanon's first and only certified B Corp, because we believe in business being a force for good. Our approach is in creating places, reviving ecosystems, uplifting communities, and enabling impact. So we don't say about, we make impact or we empower people to make impact. It's really enabling. So we work with communities and help them for them to be able to make their own impact. And our mission is to move beyond this idea of sustainability, which is essentially about doing less harm, and toward regeneration, which is about designing for life. And my focus is on cities because I'm an architect. I've always lived in cities. And at the moment, cities are not serving us well. They occupy about 3% of the surface of the earth, but they're responsible for more than 70% of the greenhouse gas emissions. We have, urban heat increase, environmental degradation, pollution clouds, water pollution, very little green space. And so basically this is, I take Beirut, my city, as a case study. Beirut is gray, but it doesn't have to be. So this picture of Beirut, Beirut wasn't like that just 6 years ago. 6 years ago, Beirut was not as polluted as it is right now because of so many issues that have happened. Lebanon is a failed state. There's systemic challenges. We had a big financial crash in 2019. And so basically we lost our power grid, which was the most sort of corrupted of the ministries. The energy ministry is one of the most corrupt in the country. And we went from having 22 hours of electricity a day to now receiving between 1 to 3 hours of electricity a day from the national grid. All of the other time is supplied by private generators that are not regulated and that are running on dirty fuel and things like that. There's also no public transportation, very little public transportation in Beirut, so also private cars are responsible for a lot of the pollution as well. So this transformation happened pretty quickly. Urban heat has increased by 3.5 degrees. 80% of the surface of the city is paved or built, and we have only 1 tree for every 3,000 residents. For me, this connects to larger issues around the world because all these issues are more or less the same. And when we talk about the poly crisis, for me, it's about biodiversity loss, climate change, social inequality, but also a crisis of imagination. When people think about the future, they think of a sort of techno-utopian future with flying cars and high rises, and all of these images, they don't really include any humans, and they definitely don't include any nature. So how can we bring this, how can we enable people to dream again? So we look to nature to guide a better built environment. I studied biomimicry back in 2011, and unlike the Industrial Revolution, we think of the biomimicry revolution as a revolution that is, instead of being based on what we can extract from nature, it's actually based on what we can learn from nature. And one of the first things I was interested in is what if our cities could be as effective and generous as a forest, or as a meadow, or as a desert, whatever ecosystem it is actually come to replace. So providing not only for ourselves as a human, but for other species as well. And I take as a case study the Beirut River. So this is the natural ecosystem at the Beirut River. And this is the Beirut River in the city. So back in 1968, this thriving ecosystem was transformed to a sewage infrastructure. And since it became a sewage infrastructure, it became concrete canal, it became disconnected from the communities that used to care for it and that used to go and, have all kind of festivals and meetings there. It became a no man's land. And since it became a no man's land, it became the place where, people dump everything. So from the dumping of garbage in the river during our trash crisis in 2015 and 16, where you can see mounds like garbage of over kilometers to a height of 10 to 12 meters inside the riverbed, to the dumping of raw sewage, the dumping of industrial waste every few years, where the river turns red, and all of it flows into the Mediterranean Sea, making it a local problem with a global impact. So this is a very it's a systemic problem. And my challenge, I spent about 6 years advocating and being an activist for the Beirut River. So 6 years between 2013 till late 2018, being the angry activist, taking people by the hand, dragging them to the river, showing them the river, screaming, shouting, trying, every way possible. I used to, take people on toxic tours of the river for them to come and discover. But the issue with that is that I wasn't giving them a solution. I wasn't giving them a way, or I wasn't showing them what agency they had to actually do something about it. I was just stating the fact and showing them and hoping that someone would do something. So in late 2018, a friend of mine reached out to me. She had been following my work for a while, and then she introduced me to this idea of urban forest making and suggested that we do this project together by the side of the Beirut River. And so it really became about thinking globally but acting locally. And inspired by the work of Kenyan ecologist Wangari Maathai, she says, it's the little things citizens do. That's what will make the difference. And my little thing is planting trees. So it really became about us inviting the community to the banks of the river and planting trees there. So in 2019, we planted the first Miyawaki forest in Lebanon, Beirut Riverless Forest. So in this image, you can see the Beirut River at the top in this concrete canal. The water that's flowing is actually pure sewage, because all of the fresh water is pumped at source by private water bottling companies that package it in plastic and sell it back to us as consumers. And it's only sewage that is then dumped back in the river. Here, this site used to be an informal urban landfill. So the first thing we did is that we cleaned up the landfill with the help of volunteers. And then we dug up the site and then we started planting. So this pilot started in 2019, a few months before the financial crash. And we planted in 200 square meters only. That was our pilot project. And then it kept on growing. And every year we do our yearly planting festival at the Beirut River.
I'm very impressed about this outdoor strategy. I also fight with clients, but most of them indoors. And what I wrote it down is that your fight about, you say, my little thing is planting trees. That is your big strategy. So what I learned today is that you have this little by little concept to go fast and effective, and that small green works. I can replicate that indoors. I love this big strategy outdoor and inspire others with meaningful connection, but so many people working on this rewilding things. I was impressed about the strategy you built with everything, with your little by little concept.
Yeah.
And thank you.
So it was really, Laura, because of as I said, 6 years of, being the sort of angry activist that was going nowhere. So a lot of press, a lot of recognition, but on the ground, nothing was changing. So I was looking for this very tangible thing. And instead of telling people, come see the river, come see the pollution, they were like, oh, come plant a tree with us. And then, you know, they come to this place. You don't say, come plant a tree by the concrete, you know, it's just like, come plant a tree with us. And so people from different political backgrounds, you know, because there's also like a lot of tensions here, people from different political backgrounds, like no one's going to fight, like no one's going to say planting a tree is like not a good idea. And so they'll come for the social media and to take the selfies and all of this. But as they're there, as they're planting a tree, they're holding something alive, they have their hands in the soil, their brain changes, and then they will like maybe smell some sewage, and then they will see the concrete wall, and then they go and discover the river, and they are shocked because they're in a different mindset. So you put them in that different mindset, and then they discover the problem you want them to discover, let's say, instead of me sort of dragging them. So instead of the direct route, like come, it's like, you know, you do this convoluted thing, but it's actually good because it also reframes their mind. So that was the idea behind it.